No matter where you are in the world, CSL Dallas is here as your spiritual home. As a reminder, every day is an opportunity for a transformation, spiritual deepening, and heart-to-heart connection, no matter what's going on. And every day we can learn and practice something important that can make a difference in our lives and around the globe. So join us for amazing music and to learn more about how we can take these spiritual principles out into the real world. All right, so let's get ready for today's celebration by putting your hands together for the CSL Dallas music team.
Everybody on your feet. Today we're going to lead with love, and we're going to love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live from all the ways I fall. Let me learn from all the ways I fall. Oh, let me know that love can heal us all. Let me know that love can heal us all. Oh, let me know that love can heal us all. Let me know that love can heal us all. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me share the good that overflows. Let me share the good that's overflowing. Oh, let me care for those around the world. Let me care for those around the world. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy
Good morning, everyone. Whew. You guys made my Apple Watch go off saying that it's kind of loud in here. So, it must be working okay. Good morning. My name is Michael Grundy, and I have the privilege of being your platform assistant today. So let me tell you what's going on. But first, let's read our purpose statement together. We are radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, transforming lives. And so it is. It's about to be August, and next month we have 2 unique musical experiences in store. First, come to our open mic night on August 11th. This is a safe space to share your voice, your instruments, and your creative talent with folks from CSL Dallas. Come to perform, support other performers, or both. It's led by Joe Tinker right here on the campus. You can find out more about the event and RSVP at csldallas.org/events. And then second, Curtain Meditation is back at CSL Dallas. Join musicians Doug Klein and Sharon McGregor for an evening of sacred sound as we chant the Sanskrit names of the divine and ride a wave of deep devotional music that has been sung for thousands of years. The curtain is Saturday night, August 19th, and tickets are limited, so please register in advance at csldallas.org/events. Now, Dr. Petrie has a special message to share about this month's everyday hero, Miss Ann Fisher.
Yes, let's call up Miss Ann. Here, you hold on to that. Ann Fisher, come up here. Let's say a huge thank you to Ann Fisher. Michael, you might see if there's a slide. Lawrence probably made us a slide for Ann. All right, so Ann has been with us for a very long time, and she has been head of the production here on Sundays. She goes way back to even helping with when we moved in, all kinds of things behind the scenes. Today, we are acknowledging her because Ann has been part of the scribe team for the core council, so that somebody can keep our minutes straight, right? And so we can remember what we decided and what we said. And actually, Ann does such an amazing job that we ultimately asked her to be our permanent scribe. So for the last couple of years, she's been exclusively the one at every core council meeting taking the minutes, which has been such an amazing service. And she has been such a committed and important part of the core council that last month she was appointed to one of our vacant positions on the core council. Super, super excited about that. She actually gets to talk a little more in the meetings now. And so, you know, all these behind the scenes things are happening all the time, and we can't do it without it. Without you guys, without people working behind the scenes. CSL Dallas is a volunteer-driven organization. You might not know, but we only have 4 full-time staff people. So everything else that's happening, 90% of it is being done by volunteers. And it makes a difference what you decide and how you decide to contribute. And Ann has been such a contributor for so long. And we just, you know, before you go off into the next thing on the core council, your commitment to the core council has allowed us to relax into knowing that we will always know what was going on, how clear. Her notes are like clear. They're correct. They're fabulous. They're not overdone, right? So it doesn't say every word that was ever spoken, because we would not want to read them. So, yeah, for everything, but especially for this behind-the-scenes work that you have been such an anchor for, please say thank you to Ann Fisher. And we're going to sing to you. We are, stand, yeah, go ahead. And we are grateful.
Congratulations, Ann. I've been on that core council, and being the scribe, that's a big deal. Being a member of it, that's an even bigger deal. And just being a member of CSL Dallas is a real big deal. And I'm always impressed with the folks around here, so I'm going to share a little special secret with you guys, okay? That's Dr. Ann Fisher over there, just so y'all know. That's Dr. Ann Fisher. So her doing a good scribe work, you know, that's probably elementary thing for her, you know. She's a doctor, so what? Anyway, whether you're joining us for the first time or have been connected for years, welcome. However you found us today, in person or online, we'd love to stay in touch with you, so stay in the know by following us on social media. Leave us a Google review and sign up for our weekly newsletter and inspirational texts by filling out a Connect card from the link in the chat or online or at the welcome table on campus to stay connected to all that's happening at CSL Dallas. Now, let's settle into this morning with our music team, Candy, Jerry, Glenda, Charlotte, as well as Brad, Jonathan, Michael, and a special, special, special welcome to the guy with the mask on. That's Lenny Nance. He's going to be our special musician, guys. So let's settle down with them, and let's center with our practitioner, Cindy Young, as we go within. Enjoy the service.
Before we go into that sacred place, I want you to know who this guy is. He is a Dallas native, and wherever you go, everybody knows Lenny. And he's well respected here, and oh my God, I'm not gonna cry. He is well loved here. I have worked with him forever, and it is my honor to share him with you and to share you with him. So here we go. Here we go.
Flow, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show, Spirit, show through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love. Oh, flow, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show, Spirit, show through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love.
Please join me as we go within into that indwelling place where love and peace reside deep within our being. And what I know is that there's only one impulsion, and that impulsion is love. The divine givingness of spirit that flows through each and every one of us every single day and every single moment. And as we come together today, we are grounded in that peace and that love, and we reflect it out into the world, into the universe, creating that container that supports a world that works for everyone. And so we come together knowing that we are love, we are peace, and the good that exists in the universe is the good that exists within us. We claim it, we know it, and we affirm it by saying, and so it is.
Here we go, here we go. Flow, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show, Spirit, show through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love. Your unfolding love. Your unfolding love. Your unfolding There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient, and
Y'all ready? Scoot down. Okay, if you know this, just jump in.
All right, let's go.
Come on. Hey.
Now's the time for all good men to come together as one another. We got to burn our cores and iron out the struggles and try to live as brothers and try to find a peace within without stepping on one another and do
Yeah. You know that's right. Woo, man. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Whew, I know, right? So I'd like to invite you to download that little piece of music when you get out on our YouTube channel or our Facebook page, when you find that little piece of music, and then when you are reading the news, you're going to play that song. Because where do we go? Ain't it awful? It's awful. Oh my gosh. And there is definitely awfulness. We are not pretending that it isn't. And our spirituality teaches us that no matter how awful it is in our own lives, in the lives of our friends and family, in the lives of the nation, in the lives of the planet, we can make a difference. So we've been talking all month about spirituality and social action. So the first, not the whole month, just these last 3 weeks, because our Journey to Awakening, ended on the 9th. We had this little window to have this conversation. So the first week, we talked about advocacy and how important it is for our spiritual voice to be heard. And that it is important to bring our spiritual voice to the table. It's no longer okay to hold back because we're afraid of offending someone, or we're afraid that we can't speak up in a way that's appropriate. Right? We know from our own spiritual traditions, we don't make other people wrong, we don't make them bad, we don't hate them, we don't call them names. What we do is we speak truth, and we speak a vision into being. Right? That's exactly what we do with our own lives. And so when we are advocating, we are speaking about not just the possibility, but the reality that that vision can pull us through, whether it's women's issues, racism, LGBT, climate, immigration, poverty, homelessness, hunger. The list could go on, right? We can speak a vision, and we did with our global vision. And our job is to find that slice that is important to us, that we are willing to contribute our time, talent, and energy to. Simply being upset about it isn't going to change anything. And withdrawing and having apathy and believing that nothing will ever change will only hold it in place. So last week, we talked about how easy it is to get sucked into the way in which all of this stuff is framed, and how easy it is that that the media and social media, it becomes sort of a flinging contest. And also, it is designed to so upset us that we can't find a middle ground. And to polarize us, and to keep us polarized, because, a house divided against itself actually can't stand, right? 49% of the United States right now, they self-identify as not Republican and not Democrat. 49% of people, and yet all we hear about the extreme sides. And our job is to speak into the middle, the common ground that allows us to move forward in a sustainable, respectful, loving way, that allows us make sure that we are creating a world that works for everyone and lives that work for each one of us. And all of the uniqueness that each of us have, and all the various challenges that we share collectively. So we did a little examination of all the ways that arguments can be presented that are designed to either hook you in, upset you, make you mad, or to have you come to the wrong conclusion. And so we have to bring our critical thinking to bear. We do not leave our intelligence at the door in this spirituality, and we don't want to leave our intelligence at the door when we are thinking about how do we engage in the world in a meaningful way, and in a way that's in alignment with who we are and what we teach. All of this comes out of our spiritual principles, right? We work in the world based on our spiritual principles. We move in the world based on our fundamental understanding of the nature of reality and how Each person and all beings everywhere are a part of that. But we also move in the world from a deep, deep commitment to our belief that causal consciousness wins out. That causal consciousness can, in fact, change the trajectory in which life is evolving and progressing. We do it in our own lives every time we do an affirmation, every time we do a spiritual mind treatment, every time we make a vision board, every time we go to a practitioner, every time that we say, wait, I know this is the truth about spirit, therefore it must be the truth about me and it must show up in my life. Every time we do that, we begin to narrate in our own minds a new outcome that's in alignment with spiritual truth, that is in alignment with the trajectory of life itself, for those of you who are watching this morning in the Science of Mind class, right? And we know how to do this. And we have countless documented evidences that we know that this can be done collectively. Lynn Twist years ago started this with the work about, the dropping crime rate in various cities. We were a part of that. Can't remember the year. Many, many years ago, we were a part of that. We were part of meditating for X number of days over X number of weeks. Documented research showed that the crime rate did, in fact, go down, not only in Dallas, but in in the other cities where this experiment was taking place. For those of you who have ever been involved with John Randolph Price's Let's Pray for World Peace at 4 a.m. it was 4 a.m. in Seattle, at, noon Greenwich Mean Time. If you do that, if you've ever been part of a prayer vigil, you've ever been part of a place where people get together and say, we are going to do spiritual work around this, right? You have been already involved in this process. And it is fundamental to our work in the world. When we ground ourselves in spiritual truth, when we begin to narrate for ourselves, what does it look like on the other side as we have worked through this, and we hold steady to that vision, do you see, then we can work in the world with confidence. We can speak, trusting that we are speaking for that vision. We can do all of our work, whether it's advocacy, whether it's parsing the news, we can do all of that with an attitude of yes, we can, because we know that consciousness is cause, and causal consciousness that is deliberately and consciously directed is absolutely shifting in our own lives, our own way of moving in the world, and when we do it together collectively. So I've had a lot of people ask over the last 3 weeks, and even prior to that, I don't know how to do that. I feel like I know how to do that in my own life, but I don't actually know how to do that for these very large, seemingly insurmountable issues that we are facing. And so it's because it's the ground from which we work, I want to make sure that as we have gone through these last 2 weeks, that we ground it in this fundamental belief that we have, that when we are standing in causal consciousness, nothing can stand in the way of that. Every spiritual tradition has taught us that, right? Whenever two or more are gathered, and I with God as a majority, there's so many ways that our spiritual traditions and the mystics of the ages have shown us that this is true. And we have now scientific evidence and documented research that corroborates that this is true. So you'll see in 2024 that CSL Dallas is really we're going to develop some of these things and some times for us to come together. We're also going to help you understand that there's lots of people who are doing this, and you can jump in on lots of this causal work. CSL, they do a monthly thing we'll be letting you know about. There's lots of ways that you can contribute, especially for those of you who don't feel comfortable talking or don't feel called to outer advocacy work. This work is just important. And even those of us who are called for that, we need to be doing this work because this is the ground. Otherwise, we're too likely to get into the us and them, the name calling, the anger, or the despair, right? This has to be the ground from which we come so that we can say, yes, yes, we can. Yes, we can. So we're going to go on a little extended journey. I have come to realize that our good spiritual mind treatment is not that different than a shamanic journey, than the things that they teach in the mystery schools. We want to continually remember that a spiritual mind treatment is not about the words we say, but it is about the consciousness that we create. It is not unlike the consciousness that we can't do this with my shoes on, sorry. It just doesn't work. Just can't do it with my shoes on. And so we're going to do we're just going to do a little something here. So your job is to participate. How you participate in collective consciousness is that you decide to be a part of it, right? That means that you hold your focus. You hold your attention. Just like in meditation, right? You have those moments where you're like bored, like, oh God, was this ever going to be over? And then you have those other moments when all of a sudden you're thinking about what you're going to do tomorrow, right? Just like that, you're going to bring yourself back. Each time you're going to bring yourself back. You're going to stay as focused as you can. It's a little bit like a journey or guided visualization imagery. So you're actually going to follow the words that I'm saying and do everything that you can to imagine them, embody them, experience them in your own consciousness. These might not be the words that you would choose, but I'm the one taking you on the journey, so come on with me. Right? Do the best you can with that. And then fundamentally, ultimately, the space we want to be in is in agreement that this is the truth. Yes, we can. Yes, this is the truth. Yes, this is the story I'm going to tell. Yes, this is the mental equivalent I'm going to hold. Yes, I'm going to stand in this place, and from it I will not be moved. I will not be moved by whatever it says in the news, by whatever fear I myself might have. That, right? This is what we do over and over and over again as we ground ourselves in the deeper and deeper and deeper experience of consciousness. Ground ourselves deeper in the truth so that we cannot be swayed. So join with me at home. The instructions are exactly the same. Just be in the process as fully, as completely as you can. Notice where you have doubt. Notice where you're yet but. Notice where you're, it's like that's ever going to happen. Notice where those show up, right? That's where our doubt is interfering with our belief in spiritual truth and in causal consciousness. We all do it. There's nothing wrong with it. But that's where our work is. That's where our personal work is, to move through those places of fear and doubt and apathy. If they come up, no shame, no blame. Just notice them and notice that, okay, I got to do some work there because I'm really not sure this stuff works. This is an exercise in understanding whether or not we believe that this shit really works, right? Otherwise, we're not using it in our lives. So this is the single biggest thing I believe Science of Mind and New Thought and every spiritual community that is ever doing good work in the world through prayer and consciousness, this is the fundamental thing that we have to offer. Shift consciousness. And therefore, create critical mass that tells a new story. And where nothing but the new story is acceptable. Nothing but the new story is acceptable. Lenny is going to provide us with a little quiet music in the background so that you can go on this journey with me. So I invite you to go within. Close your eyes if you choose. Find a quiet place in your mind and in your body. Breathe. Just breathe. Notice that when you breathe in, the breath is there. And that in this intimate exchange of breath, it's a beautiful representation of the infinite exchange of life. The universal breathing itself into the individual, and the individual breathing itself back out into the universal. Notice how fluid it is. No place where the universe ends and the individual begins. No place where the individual ends and the universal begins. An beautiful flow of oneness, a flow of wholeness. And as we recognize this, we find ourselves settling into our bodies, grounding ourselves where we're seated, grounding ourselves into Mother Earth, into the power and the presence of the embodied life. And so we can breathe down into the earth and back up again, noticing that there too, there is no separation. So just take a few moments to just breathe. Breathe out into the universal, draw it in. Breathe down into the earth, into the physical, draw it back up again. And so we begin to sense and feel that there is an infinite reality so much beyond our own limited experience. An infinite reality that is the source of all life, all creation. A power and a presence that is not just the impulse of life, but the power from which life springs. And we call that impulse love. The desire for the infinite to experience and express life. And so it falls into form, multiplying itself into all the individual expressions of life. Here on planet Earth, everywhere in the galaxies, multi-universes, all of the expressions, infinite in nature, joyously, uniquely expressing some aspect of the one. The hummingbird that flashes in the sun and moves its wings so impossibly fast. The bumblebee that seems to have no right to fly, and yet it does. The rainforest's rich, interdependent ecosystems that are so vibrant with life. The mountaintops and the ice flows that are some of the richest environments for life to flourish. Each expression a part of the whole, expressing itself through all of creation. And notice that this infinite life is forever becoming. That infinite being is forever becoming. And this is the joy of life itself to express. All of creation evolving for more expanded ways for consciousness, the infinite, for spirit to become. And this is eternally and forever going on. And somehow, miraculously, that evolution has come to the place where it has evolved an organ, a physical expression of itself, a place where consciousness can house itself and pretend to be individualized, pretend to be separate. Any place where self-consciousness has arisen, all over the galaxies, multiverses, all over our planet, and right where we are as human beings, you and me. That infinite life has evolved to an organ that can see itself, that can see the universe as the individual, see the individual as the universe, feel the connections, sense this infinite oneness, experience the interconnectedness, not only of the universe and the earth, but all beings everywhere. And all people everywhere. And right where I am and right where you are, that revelation is making itself known as an awakened consciousness. An awakened consciousness that can sense and see this beautiful impulse of life, and recognize that it is guided by a wisdom and an intelligence that knows how to make all of those creations, from the galaxies and the black holes and the quasars all the way down to the quarks and the photons of light, resting in that quantum field of possibility. The Hindus called it the womb of creation, the ultimate no thing from which all things spring. We have been awakening to this consciousness now for thousands of years. And if we continue to follow our imagination with our breathing up into the universe and down into the earth and our connection to all beings everywhere, notice where the meeting point is. Where do all these things come together and cross in our awareness? Right in the heart. Right in that sacred and beautiful place where the one sees the many and the many can express as the one, and we feel that infinite love of life pouring in through and as us. It is this love that motivates. It is this love that feels its interconnectedness. It is this love that is the truth. behind all we say, all we do, all we are motivated to work for, all that calls us forward. It's also the place in which we grieve. We grieve the hurt and the pain. We grieve the reality of the human experience of separation. We grieve the damage that has been done to each other, to our planet. We grieve ignorance. We grieve the belief that there is even such thing as separation. And it is because we know the truth of love that we grieve. And this grief is real. And we grieve it because we know something different. We grieve it because we can see possibility. We grieve it because we know this isn't the truth. We grieve it because we can see beyond separation and hurt and anger to where love can take us. And so in this moment, we transform that grief into truth. We transform that grief into trust. We transform that grief into a new story. This has not been the truth of humanity. This has been the opportunity for awakening, and we call that awakening forth now. We stand as awakened beings who can see possibility, even if we don't know how, even if we don't know form. And each one of us can say within our own consciousness, I am an awakened being. I am pulled by a new vision. I see a world in which all people find a place and a home that works. I see a world in which we care for ourselves and each other and creation. And I know that as I do so, I join my consciousness with all awakened beings. And that in this reality, we are lifting the awakening of humanity. I know that as I do so, this awakening calls for an awakening in our political leaders, in our corporations and business leaders. From every level, this awakening must now take place, for I have called it forth. For I see it and sense it as the truth of humanity itself. I accept and expect that new choices are made, that choices that are sustainable, inclusive, equitable, fulfilling, bringing wholeness back to our homes, our cities, our nations, and our planet. I affirm that we are listening to the feedback of life. We are seeing those ways that do not serve, and we are choosing new ones. I affirm and I celebrate every place where a difference is being made. I look for the good and praise it. I praise it in those governments who are choosing nature, I'm praising those corporations who are making equitable decisions. I am praising those politicians who are working for climate restoration and us as a species growing into a new way on the planet. I look for the good and I praise it and I say, yes, yes, we can. They can. We can. Those people, that group, that company, that political party or group or government or whatever it is, yes, yes, they're doing it. See, we can. Yes, we can. And because we say yes, the law says yes back. The universe says yes. So just inviting you to scan in your mind's eye for the good that you have seen. Right now, I lend my energy and my attention and my expectation that this good makes a difference. I believe in it. I stand witness to the good and I praise it. And because I stand here, I shall not be afraid. Because I rest in an infinite power and presence that knows how to do all of this. I trust in that infinite universal law, divine right action taking place, the awakening of consciousness in the most unexpected places. I release any concern about how. And I allow myself to be moved, directed, guided for what is mine to do. I do not need to change all of it. I choose where I place my work, my energy, my attention. And I know it is guided by that infinite power and presence. I know it is life itself moving as me. And because I know this, I know that my voice is effective. I know that my work makes a difference. I know that when I write or speak or choose or pray, that it does in fact make a difference because it is guided by love, it is impelled by life, and it is governed by the intelligence that knows how, that has said as me, oh this, do this, say this, be there, go there, get involved with that. Because I know who I am and I know where I stand and I know what is impelling me forward. So I move with trust. I speak with faith and confidence. From this I shall not be moved. I allow myself to grieve, but I know it's not the end, because I know it's not the truth. I allow myself to look without fear, because I see through it to a greater vision. And I know that as I do this work, I do this with countless, hundreds of thousands, millions of awakened souls. I stand shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand, heart to heart. As life and love are brought more fully into the world. And it is here that I stake my claim. From this place I shall not be moved. I shall come here back to this over and over and over and over again, because I believe this is how consciousness is caused. I know the law only says yes. And so it is with deep and powerful faith and trust that I know that it is already done. That vision is pulling so strongly, it cannot be denied. So I breathe in that deep assurance, that cheerful expectancy, that willingness to be part of the answer. So just breathe. Allow these truths to permeate every cell of your body, every synaptic pathways of your mind, every energetic aspect of your being. I let it be so, and so it is.
Okay. Now let's all show our support for this beloved community. We invite you to give generously to the work of CSL Dallas, knowing that as you give, the law of circulation multiplies that gift to you and to so many others. Let's begin by affirming our abundance together. Oops, there it is. Today, I am conscious that there is infinite wisdom directing me. I know the universe is always bringing complete abundance into my life. Infinite abundance flows into our community. CSL Dallas is an outlet of immeasurable good. We declare that freedom and joy are ours today, and so it is. There are many different ways that you can give. You can use text giving, Venmo, PayPal, auto tithing, or use the basket that's being passed around. Pick whatever option works best for you. And by the way, if you're someone who makes recurring donations online or has automatic payments set up or financially pledged or tied to CSL Dallas, you're welcome to pick up a laminated dollar bill from the back of the sanctuary to place in the offering basket each Sunday to hold as a representation of your contribution. That's this thing, guys. Okay? Don't take it anywhere else. It doesn't spend. Okay? But every Sunday, you can receive direct spiritual support from one of our licensed spiritual coaches. These sessions are free and take place in person and online immediately after the celebration. If you're on campus, head to the Peace Room. For those of you online, a link is being posted in the chat for you to join via Zoom. You can also fill out a spiritual support request form and place it in the wooden box at the back of the sanctuary. That's this form, guys, okay? Or you can just fill out the form that's in the chat. Another awesome opportunity is coming up this October in the Center for Spiritual Living. That's Next Gen Retreat. Next Gen is a community of young adults in their 20s and their 30s from CSLs worldwide. The retreat includes 3.5 days at the beautiful Camp Cedar Ridge in Oregon and focuses on building leadership skills, community, and social change in healthy relationships. Scholarships are available, and to learn more and to apply, visit nextgenretreat.org. Hey, our Gooch Elementary Uniform Drive has been extended, and today is the last day to help us reach our goal. We've raised enough funds to provide 60 uniforms, and our goal is 100. Any donation amount you can contribute helps us provide 100 Gooch Scholars a $50 uniform. For 15 years, our community members have donated $5,000 to Gooch Scholars so they can proudly wear a uniform. Let's be love in action and make it happen again in 2023. Visit the community service team at the welcome table in Pankey Hall to make your donation, or click the link being posted in the chat. Now, let's close our time together with our amazing music team. Stand up, guys. It's time to go. Let's party our way out of here.